how are you? I hope you are doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk you through all the things I brought with me when I moved from the UK to Hong Kong. And not only that, but I'm going to talk you through a few of the things that I wish I packed. There's definitely some stuff that after 5 months, I've noted down like, really wish I'd bought it. Whether it's stuff that I just completely forgot and never crossed my mind, or things that I was a bit umming and ahhing about and I wish I just put in my suitcase. There's also a few things that I wish I hadn't brought with me because I definitely didn't need them, or I could have easily got them here, and if I hadn't bought them then I could have bought those other things. So I'm going to break it down into categories, and if this video is useful then I'd love it if you gave it a like. Just really nice to know that it's a useful video for you, and also just kind of helps me get more videos out there and people see them. Okay, so let's begin. So as I said, I'm going to break it down into categories so it kind of hopefully applies to more people from wherever you're moving from and to. And the first category I'm going to call definitely don't forget, 100% you need it, this is essential. Number 1, your passport, obviously. Obviously your passport. But not only that, also if you have a visa that you need to put in your passport, there's also things to consider, like if you're going through America and you need, what's it called? An ESTA, something like that. I have friends who've not known that and been traveling somewhere else but stopping through the USA, so yeah, definitely do your research, make sure you have everything you need in that category. One of the things that I think might come in useful, and it's just, I mean, a no-brainer for me to have, is a list of vaccines that I've had in the past. Vaccine has, you know, in 2020 and 2021, it's got a whole new meaning, but there's still all the other vaccines that, you know, you may have had before, you may need. And when we were moving to Hong Kong, we didn't necessarily, or I didn't need additional vaccines to what I'd already had, but I was also aware of if and when we can maybe travel to other places from here, I might need some other vaccines. So it's so good, it's so useful to have a record. I'm looking down at it. I don't necessarily want to show it on camera because I'm like, this is all my details. With this, I've got some paper copies, and I also obviously have digital copies. The paper copies, they were for like my peace of mind, but the digital copies are probably kind of safer and easier to access in most situations. The completely over the top thing I did is I made myself a little folder and I put all these bits in the folder so all the super important information is together and I always knew where it was. And particularly when I traveled, I had that in my carry-on. I actually had like small suitcase plus a backpack, and this was like in the backpack with me all the time. Another thing that was in there is my little travel insurance little situation. We actually needed travel insurance for our visa, but it's also like a no-brainer to get it. I did also make a couple of copies of my passport and a few photos, just in case we needed them for ID cards or anything like that. Things you might want to consider, driver's license or some other form of ID if you need it. Another thing that I had a quick sort through before I came was what bank accounts I had and what cards I might bring with me. And I've used Monzo and Starling. Love them both equally, to be honest. Maybe Monzo a bit more. Oh, the scandal. And they're super useful to have here because you get what is it? It's like free withdrawals up to a certain point, and they charge in the local currency, so you're not getting charged a fee for using it abroad. So that's really helped, and that helped prior to me opening an account here. The other little top tip is you might want to see what banks are available where you're moving, and there might be ones in common. So obviously HSBC was available in Hong Kong, and I had a HSBC card at home, so I just brought that with me, took it into the bank, and within like half an hour I'd set up an account because I had that previous account in the UK. I think that's my list of like 100% must-haves. I mean, if I've forgotten something, then that is ironic. That was like, okay, at least I can arrive, and if stuff goes wrong, then I have my backups, my safety net, etc. Let's move on to clothing. I'll keep this kind of general, but essentially there were definitely, this is a thing where I bought too much of it. And like, I don't think I personally have like a crazy amount of clothes. I'm a love the Anna Edit capsule wardrobe style kind of gal, but I still 100% bought too much stuff. And I think that was because I thought to myself, okay, what will I need when I'm there? And particularly going from the UK to Hong Kong, it was definitely more like my summer wardrobe and my spring wardrobe, because there's only a short part of the year where it gets cold. I mean, the fact that I'm wearing a jumper is crazy. I think what I did is I just took that whole wardrobe without thinking about, oh, okay, I could probably like reduce this amount of stuff. I could have just easily bought a few things here. Obviously, I don't love to promote fast fashion or any waste, but whether it's secondhand or things that you then maybe would take back with you. And if I'd done that and kind of, you know, given a few things away before I moved, then that might have made my suitcase a lot lighter and given room for the things that I wish I brought with me. Saying that, there are a few things I am so glad I bought. One of them was a kind of quick purchase before I came here, and it is this coat off Amazon. It's just like a really lightweight, I mean, I've stuffed it in terribly the last time I did it, but it does stuff a bit smaller. A really lightweight clear coat, and it is amazing, particularly to have in my bag in the rainier months and just whip out when it suddenly starts chucking it down, when a few minutes ago it was like boiling gorgeous weather. Oh, and all of these little things I'll put in the little description below with the link, so if you are also moving to Hong Kong or need something like this, you can go grab it. The other thing, which, oh my god, it's so funny because when I got this originally, I was given it as a gift and I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. And I didn't know at the time how well it would serve me. Oh, it's my Uniqlo jacket. I do call this my trash bag as a bit of a joke. It looks, when it's off particularly, like a trash bag. But it's so lightweight. Again, it's one of those things that just like squishes up into a tiny little ball, and it's so useful again to have, maybe not necessarily also for the rain, but in the slightly cooler months, particularly after you've say done a hike and you're all hot during the hike, but then suddenly you're a little bit cold at the end when you're like on the bus on the way home. So yeah, to have this little layer is so useful, and those two things I definitely don't regret bringing with me to have them like straight away. Another little quick top tip as well is in the warmer months in Hong Kong, you might be absolutely sweating your tits off when you're walking around the street, but then you could suddenly go into like a cafe or something and be freezing because the aircon is insane. So just having like a couple of cute little really lightweight scarves are really handy, just so then when you're in your like vest top and then suddenly your nips are showing, you can just like, oh shit, thank god. That would have created some drama. Yeah, you can just like wrap it around you, helps a little bit with the mega aircon situation. Okay, I've kept clothes fairly general, but I mean, I'm not going to tell you like how many pairs of socks I bought. I just bought normal amounts of things that, you know, you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to do a wash every 1 or 2 weeks. How much clothes do I need in that time? Think about the weather of like wherever you're going. That's it. If you do want more detail on that, let me know in the comments below. Now another thing that I really wish I'd bought. This is basically a whole category that I missed out on, that I didn't really think to pack. This topic is sentimental things. I did bring a few little photos and stuff like that with me, but there are so many other things that I could have brought along, and those are things that I obviously cannot buy here. Stuff that reminds you of your friends and your family and home, and like there's no way to pick that up here, and that is the priceless stuff that, you know, I could have done with literally halving my wardrobe in my suitcase and putting in those things and then just filling up my wardrobe while I'm here. If I had and I could decorate the place with, that would have just, yeah, that would have worked well. And it's something that isn't the end of the world, but I really regret not bringing, and I just really wish I had. Okay, next topic, I'm gonna say is called Toiletries, and by that I mean like makeup, wash stuff, all those little bits. That stuff, I think I nailed it. Not to like toot my own horn too much, but I did. So what I did with that is generally my makeup I slightly downsized. I decided that I didn't need like 4 or 5 eyeshadow palettes all with the same colours in, so I just bought a couple. And then I also just bought my typical skincare stuff. It's saying that I did kind of reduce as well because I just wanted to take almost minis, stuff that I could use for the first few weeks, and then I could pick up stuff here. And that was generally really useful to have that little bit at the very beginning to keep me going while we were organising the bigger things, but then to be able to just pick up stuff here. Barney did bring like full-on bottles and multiple bottles of things that then you can just like get in the shop literally outside. So I'm not really sure why he did that, and I think he slightly regrets bringing so many. There's something actually that I thought I would regret bringing along, and I really don't. This section is called Homeware. That'll do. And we kind of just thought about what is the bare minimum little bits that, say if you, well, I mean, in any situation, if you just move in somewhere and you need this stuff straight away. And these are also things actually that I should say we plan to give away or recycle at the end, so we're not necessarily going to bring them back with us. They were all old stuff that was almost like spares in our last place, things that we like maybe should have got rid of prior to that, but it's lucky we didn't. Those things are stuff like cutlery, basic cutlery, a few tea towels, a slightly old, admittedly slightly manky bath mat. It's not gross, but it's getting to the end of its existence. Oh yeah, bedding as well. Bedding and a couple of plastic cups and a couple of old mugs too. Those things, again, it's stuff that we'll, you know, get rid of in some form at the end of our stay here, but is just amazing to have initially and to have extras of. Now on to work stuff slash tech, I guess. I brought with me my laptop, some kind of tech bits for work as well, some additional little pieces like a graphics tablet, that kind of thing. And then for my own fun and love of like filming and taking pictures and everything, I bought my camera, I bought my drone as well, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, those were just such high value stuff that I wasn't gonna like necessarily leave it behind and buy it again when I'm here. But again, saying that, there is like definitely affordable tech here too. So if you're thinking of buying something like this, particularly for your traveling or for your move, it might be worth seeing where is going to be more cost effective to get it if you haven't got it already. A thing on that note that I almost forgot was all the different chargers and all the different blimmin' little adapters and stuff like that. I spent like almost a day, like I forgot about this until last minute, and then spent a day looking through my like wires box. Oh my god, why do I do that to myself? It's all neat now. Actually, I'll show you how I do it. I bought this little cute case from Amazon that has 2 sections in it. It's got this bit that's like kind of all separated out, then it's got a pocket up here, and then it's got like this more zipper section at the top that has lots of places for wires and makes them all neat. Oh, this is so useful. Highly recommend. I'll put it again in the description below. But yeah, I really rate this because it helped me sort out everything I needed, all the chargers, all stuff like that. And you know, particularly when obviously there are, I'm sure, things that you can get when you move to that place, but just if you already have them, to have them straight away, something that's quite small, was very, very useful. So definitely just, yeah, do that. Okay, battery died, but we're back. And to quickly go over the 2 final things that I really wish I packed, and yeah, just like, it was things that at the time I thought were really unnecessary, and they aren't kind of, you know, a necessity, but they're things that you can't necessarily get abroad when you're somewhere else. So one of the things, I mean, it's specific to me, but you may have something similar. My thing is my slippers. So I do have these little bad boys that, you know, I can wear for now, but my slippers at home are something that is just like, has a bit of extra meaning to me and something unique. And you may or may not have that, but they may be something, whether it's like a piece of clothing that isn't necessarily a necessity, or it's, you know, something else like a pillow, like just the pillowcase in itself, things like that. That is the kind of thing that I really recommend and I wish I knew when I was packing. And the other thing I wish I packed is that I had a few hobbies at home that I thought to myself again when I was packing, oh, this isn't like something that's really a necessity. So I didn't put them in my suitcase. I think I had that mindset of, oh, I don't need that when I'm abroad because I'm going to be traveling and doing all these exciting things. And even if you can do those things, you know, COVID permitting, there's also those days where you don't want to. You just want to have like a downtime day, a normal day where you're sitting on the sofa watching TV, or you're doing some crafts, or, oh, my earring just fell out. For me, I really love sewing, and yeah, I knew that I couldn't ever take my sewing machine with me, but there was probably a few things that I could have brought that I would have really enjoyed here. Of course I can get that here too, but particularly with the more expensive stuff, or the stuff that, you know, I could have just easily put in my suitcase and not put all the clothes I didn't need and all these other extra bits. If I could kind of go back and tell my past self what to bring, those things would have definitely been in there, or like, you know, an attempt to include them in my luggage. If you liked this video and it was useful, I would love it if you gave it a like, a little thumbs up. If you're traveling at the moment during COVID, I actually made a video that I'll link up here that was about my experience during the pandemic, traveling and moving abroad. So if that's useful, check that out. And if you want any more detail on anything, comment below, whether it's, you know, what I packed in my hand luggage, a bit more detail about certain things I brought along with me, or anything else about my general experience. Comment away, ask questions. I'd love to help. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.